Hello people, this is Zippy and welcome to my classroom. So, in today's video, I just want us to go straight on to our title, which is what is the right age to give your child a phone? Um, Assuming you have clicked on this video because you like this question answered. And first, let's go into why we need to discuss this. First thing, children between or rather most kids are getting phones from the age of 8. Okay, statistics as it is all over the world. The majority are getting phones between the ages of 11 and 14. Okay, we do have a smaller group that has phones from 8 to 10 and another one from 15 to 18. Okay, the majority are between 11 and 14. Probably thinking if your child already has a phone, you know where they fall. Now, 7.5 hours are spent by that age group of 15 to 18 on their phones, on screen actually in general. So 15 to 18-year-olds are spending 7.5 hours in a day on their screens, while the ones here between 11 to 14 are spending 9 hours on their screens. Okay, it's slightly less for the younger age group. Okay, and I know kids even at 5 years old who have a phone, but anyway, so if you look at the data that has been done from numerous studies, you'll see that yes, they have these phones, but only 1% of the time is spent in homework. Okay, so they're using only that phone 1% of the time is for homework, 3% is for reading. Okay, some are reading ebooks and for their own, even like books given at school. So that's about 4%. What is the other 96%? Okay, so if you have children, you've seen what they do on screen. So either they're watching, it's entertainment. Okay, they're on social media, they're gaming, they're listening to music, and so on and so forth. Now you've seen the more your child spends time on their screen, the more it's leading to sleep deprivation, growing into insomnia, growing into anxiety, and in so many cases, depression. So this screen time needs to be reduced. Psychologists recommend a maximum of 2 hours of screen time. And now you're seeing we have kids who are spending 9 hours. So they have gone way, way past the recommended screen time. And in fact, the best thing is usually no screen time at all. But now we are in this technological era. We cannot say children should not have phones until they are past 18. It's not going to be possible. And what has been recommended a lot is in developed countries where kids are a bit more independent, up to the age of 14. Okay, that would be like best age for them to have a phone. Then in developing countries, because kids have less, independence, it's going a bit higher, up to 16 years old. However, these numbers are not cast in stone. So I'm just going to give you, just 4 things you need to look at before you give your child a phone. Then the other thing is also for you to keep in mind that these things, are we just handing them to our children, or do they actually have to earn them? Okay, so have that at the back of your mind. First thing is readiness for responsibility. Are they mature enough to take good care of that phone? Because these are not toys. Okay, so are they mature enough? And You see um, very, very expensive phones disappearing, falling down and breaking, and they were just bought like 2 weeks ago. So before you give that child that, are they ready? And we've talked about this in our previous video when we we're talking about responsibility. Have you taught them how to use that phone in the appropriate way, especially if it's a smartphone? Do they know the kind of phone etiquette they need to have? Do they know the dangers of cyberbullying? Do they know what kind of information they should and should not give out to people? And we assume these things at this age, they all know the dangers of using the phones or the internet. But we don't want to have that conversation. You have to have that conversation. If you look at them, even simple responsibilities in the house, the chores you give them, do they carry them out? The simple tasks. Okay, so will they be able to follow instructions if you tell them you can only use your phone over the weekend? Are they going to sneak that phone and put it in the bag and run to school with it? Those are some of the things you need to look at. Are they actually ready, mature enough to be responsible online and to take good care of that item? So that's first thing you need to look at. Second thing is there must be need to communicate. Why are we getting a phone if you don't need to communicate? And you have to really think about this clearly. Why exactly when you're having this discussion, we need to understand. And if your child right now does not have that need, but they might have it in the near future, it's good to start giving them the skills early enough. So that's one way. If there's dire need, and you'll see, especially let's say um, your child is a boarder and in that school there are allowed phones, you don't get to see your child every single day, then they should probably have a phone, if it's well regulated and you've prepared them adequately for that. That's a need. If your child is, let's say, traveling and they have a certain job, maybe they're doing over the holiday where they need to commute, or they're even going out of the country, then it's paramount that they have a phone for them. There's a need. Third thing you need also to think of is, are there alternatives? If I just need to call, can we just get a phone that has no internet? And some people call them gab phones. Some here locally we call them kabambes. The phones that are available in the market that have no access to internet. And I've had a conversation with a parent who said, the first year before getting their child a smartphone, they had to show responsibility for 1 year with that phone that has no internet. And if they were able to be responsible for that 1 year, then the following year, that's when now they got the smartphone. So, because we're just calling each other, you can even get them a smartwatch. That still works. The whole point is, is there another alternative? If you're not comfortable with that phone, what else can we do or can we use to communicate? So that's a third way. If you're trying to avoid all these dangers that come with the internet, just give them time to grow up a bit as you observe them. And just the final thing I would want you to consider before giving your child a phone is yourself. You as a parent, are you ready to have a child with a phone? Are you ready to give them that digital literacy that they would need before accessing certain sites? Are you ready for that conversation? Have you learned specific parental controls or software that you would need to install on your child's phone? Because it's not just the child who needs to be ready. Even you as a parent, you have to be ready. And I hear very funny stories as a teacher of the phone. There's so many apps which hide other apps. Okay, so you see, a parent will take the child's phone. The child is not allowed YouTube. They're not allowed any social media account. Whether it's Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram, whatever it is. But take that phone, you will not see it. However, that child has those apps because there's so many apps that hide other apps, and so you think, well, they're fine. There's nothing to worry about. But had you installed, there's so many parental apps you can install on your child's phone to make sure they're not able to download certain apps, or to make sure they're not able to see some words are just filtered. So if a video is coming up with certain information, it is automatically blocked. Okay, there are so many, there's software that you can use that will limit screen time, whether it's on your child's tablet or on a phone or a laptop, where a child has 2 hours of screen time only, and exactly after 2 hours the device shuts down. And I know so many students hate it, and I really applaud those parents who do their homework and ensure that their children are safe by learning about these things and actually actualizing them. And you have to really go the long way, because you wouldn't just give your child a car and tell them drive this car without taking the proper precautions. So same thing before giving them. Okay, and it's something we keep saying all the time. You really need to keep them safe. And just as a bonus point, just get to know, why exactly does your child want a phone? If they're the ones who ask for it, is it because of peer pressure? They come to you and say, mom, dad, so and so and so and so, everyone in my class has a phone, it's just me who doesn't have a phone. I mean, that's life. There are things other people will have that you will not have. What have they done to earn that phone? There's so many reasons. Maybe those children, there's actually a need for them. There's a safety concern. They have more reasons to have that gadget, but your child maybe doesn't need. They need to know. But, for you to argue your case, you really need to have concrete backup. Why exactly do you need this phone? They need to argue their case very well, so that you as a parent can have time to consider, and you don't automatically shut them down, say it's a no. No one in my family will have. All your brothers and sisters got a phone when they were 18, you will get yours also when you're 18. Times keep changing. Okay, maybe that was 5 years ago. Now that child might need the phone much earlier than the others. Okay, no child is the same. There are children who are more responsible than others. I have met children with a phone at the age of 12, and they are so responsible, but there are others who are 17 and are so irresponsible. So look at all these factors first. Okay, have that conversation with your child and then make an informed decision. Okay, I hope you have really enjoyed this video. If you have, please like, share, subscribe. Thank you for staying here till the end. Thank you for subscribing. If you have not, please don't forget, go ahead and subscribe. I hope that this has been a lesson that you won't